You got any crazy Kiefer stories?
So most of them, I've 3 different weird experiences with Kiefer.
Everybody does.
My favorite would be, it was a week before Thanksgiving. This was years ago. It must have been like 2013, 2012 or something, maybe 2014. And my brother came to visit me and he made the biggest mistake. He said, "Oh, John, I'll meet you for one drink, but then I have to go back to my hotel and hop a flight back to California." And I'm like, nobody's ever had one drink and actually gone to their hotel. You've been warned. And so we are, we're walking down the street, a few drinks in, and we're trying to get into a spot. And I see a guy walking into a restaurant with a bar, and I'm like, my brother's name is Amnon. I say, "Hey, come with me." And he's like, no, we're about to get in. I'm like, "Just come with me." And we enter it's like a restaurant bar, and it's closed. And as we're entering, the guy says, "Hey, sorry, we're closed." And I said, "Kiefer, is that you? I haven't seen you since that time we had drinks together at the Spotted Pig." And so the guy kind of waves me in. Kiefer, of course, has no recollection of this because he was so blackout drunk that he had almost fallen down the stairs leaving this restaurant that I met him at. And we sit down at the bar. It's Kiefer's friends, some woman from VH1, Kiefer, myself, and my brother. And then the guy's like, "What do you have?" I'm like, "I'll have what he's having." They pour us a whiskey and a bottle of Coke. And we're drinking, we're chatting. He's being very polite and nice. And then he says, the bartender says, "If you're going to be here after hours, you have to partake in our traditions." And he starts pulling something from behind the bar. And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is going to be like an all-out Coke fest or something. Yeah. This is going to be insanity." And he pulls out something way worse.
Worse
Jenga.
The game Jenga?
The game Jenga. And so we are now like getting hammered, sloshed, playing Jenga, and things are getting crazier. And Kiefer's so drunk, he's starting to sign people's bodies. And he's got these like Coke bottle thick glasses, and it's just complete insanity. Like he's losing his clothing as he's playing. We are just so drunk that it's, I think at this point, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. My brother has to be awake for the airport in 3 hours. And we're battling it out. And essentially, if we won, Kiefer was inviting us to Thanksgiving dinner with his family the following week.
What?
And we win, and we're like, "Okay, we're going to go." He gave us the address, but like the entire thing was a haze. And I go home. My brother goes to his hotel room. I wake up. I have no shirt on. I have pants on and shoes on. I'd fallen asleep. Like I couldn't even make it out of my clothing. I was so destroyed. And I look at the floor in the morning, and there's something glistening. And I realized I had stolen Kiefer's glasses.
Oh, shit.
And so I text him, and there's no answer. And I find out who his agent is, and I email them, and there's no answer. And so there's only one thing to do, which is a week later, Thanksgiving, my brother, the girl I was dating at the time, my brother's wife, and a friend of ours drove to the location, went into this secret floor at a restaurant that's well known, and entered. And he walks up to us dressed really nicely, very proper. His entire family's there. And he's like, "Who are you?" And he clearly just didn't remember me at all, didn't remember my brother. And I pull out his glasses, and I was like, "Hey, when you invited us, you accidentally left these with me." And so clearly they were his glasses. And he looks at me and he's like, "Fortunately, I can afford to replace them."
No shit.
And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so going to get beat up by Jack Bauer. This is ridiculous." And he ends up being like, "Oh, come on," and invites us to join him. And we grab some food, and the food's great. And we're all hanging out, and it's his daughters. And of course, like we're now getting sloshed again. whiskey after whiskey. And one of the daughters is like, hey, we should play a game. And off the shelf at this restaurant pulls out Jenga. And we're back at it again 1 week later.
No fucking way. So you actually did have Thanksgiving dinner with Kiefer.
Yeah.
And his whole family.
And his family. Donald wasn't there, but like the rest of the family was there.